Today on the GrandLAN video blog, Marvel's Eye of the Camera, Amazing Spider-Man, What If, House of M, X-Infernus, and X-Men Noir. Hey everyone, welcome to the GrandLAN video blog for December 4th? 3rd, 4th, 5th? First week of December 2008.
They're taking our brains!
I said it in the first one and now I don't even remember what it was. This is the second of 3 installments this week. First installment was our Secret Invasion special. Again, it was very spoilery. If you have seen any spoilers, be very careful. Froze just told me it is today is December 5th?
It's Friday.
So yes, yesterday was December 4th. That's when the books actually came out. But our Secret Invasion special, part 1 of our 3 parts this week, was very spoilery. If you haven't read it yet, stay away from it. All I'm going to say, Secret Invasion, good. That's it. Everything else after that, watch it. It's like 10 minutes of great stuff, really. Over here in the rest of the Marvel books, we're going to talk about first, Marvel's Eye of the Camera, number 1 of 6. As you may have remembered, many years ago, there was a Marvel's miniseries by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross. It was beautiful, it was well written, and it focused on the adventures of Phil Shelton, who was a journalist who saw the Marvel Universe come alive. Well, obviously Alex Ross has moved on to greener and more independent pastures, Project Superpowers. But Kurt Busiek is still here, and they've enlisted the help of Jay Anacleto. This is a project that's been in the pipeline for years. We've been told it's going to be great once Anacleto finishes it, because he's known for his very detailed work. He made his name a couple years ago and then he just disappeared. Apparently he's been working on this for quite a while. This is a suitable sequel to Marvel's. Given that you accept the fact that it's going to be all very well drawn pencil work instead of painted. Obviously that gives it a different look. It focuses more on Phil Shelton than it does on the superheroes. I had a couple of qualms with it early on. It seems like Busiek's story kind of contradicts his old Marvel story. You see, Shelton has the eye patch from being hit in the eye, which happens in Marvel's during a confrontation with the X-Men. And over here, he's acting like he's never heard of the X-Men, but he has an eye patch. So, am I right? It's kind of like...
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's interesting, but at the same time, I think in retrospect, it's kind of supposed to be like him discussing back on what he saw. There's a lot of flashback in this, I think, is mostly what it is. With a ending that kind of gives a very human touch to Phil Shelton, hits him with something really big. Overall, Anacleto's art is good. It's obviously not going to be Alex Ross painted, 36 by 48, put it on your wall in a poster size, but it looks very good. And they're putting out a black and white edition so that you can focus more on Anacleto's actual drawing instead of, the colors and all the interesting things. Black and white versions, usually Marvel is pretty good about picking a really good artist to do the black and white versions for. So that's very exciting. If you're into the $4 miniseries, 6-issue miniseries, it's a suitable sequel to Marvel's if you remember it, if you still hold a spot in your heart for it like I do. It's alright. It's a pretty good book. It's a solid book. Amazing Spider-Man 579.
Amazing.
What was the last one you read, Froze? Like 30 issues ago?
No.
10 months ago?
Yeah, it's been a while. I think I left off on 65 or
65. Amazing Spider-Man 65? 565.
565.
Okay. That's a little more believable. Alright, Amazing Spider-Man 579, Mark Waid and Marcos Martin, again with the story of the Shocker in the underground, with the subway tunnel collapse. As we saw, it started, I believe, last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago. Last issue, at least, 578. This is a testament to the Amazing Spider-Man crew. Here's a story that's a 2-part story. We didn't know it was a 2-part story. So my brain's programmed for the 6-issue story arc trade paperback style, and so what happens is it wraps up right here, and it's brilliant, and it's excellently executed and well done. You see a nice side of Shocker that you don't normally see. He's normally just a crappy D-level villain they just throw out there and like, here's the Shocker. Oh, he's fun. This is great. Mark Waid is definitely welcome in my Amazing Spider-Man writing staff anytime, because I loved it. It's brilliant. And like I said, it wraps up very nicely. There's some interesting things. The Jana Jonah Jameson Sr. wasn't really necessary. I felt he was kind of an unnecessary thing. Other than that, it's a good book. Froze is writing me a note.
That's why I haven't read the rest of them.
Got it. Good call. Next up, What If House of M.
Ooh.
As you know, there are 5 what ifs in December. As usual, there are always what ifs in December. This is an annual tradition for Marvel. This year we get 5 kind of interesting concepts. In this one, in the House of M, instead of Scarlet Witch saying no more mutants, she says no more powers. And nobody has powers. We'll talk about a very interesting Marvel universe with no powers in a couple books when we review X-Men Noir. But first, here's Brian Reed and some absolutely horrid art from, I gotta even open this up to find out who I'm criticizing here. I gotta know whose name I'm calling. Paolo Pantalina. This is terrible, terrible art. Terrible facial expressions. It's obviously heavily influenced by manga, just not influenced well by manga. I've seen better body styles in the super erotic manga anthology. Not that I've ever read it, but you know, it seems that's kind of the way that they're drawn. There's a really, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm sure you haven't read it.
Ow. Oof. Ouch. It's bad. It's really artistically bad. Brian Reed and Jim McCann write it, and it's not a bad story, I'm going to say. It's alright. As far as it goes, it's an interesting story, but again, the art really makes it suffer. The what if backup story is what if the Runaways became the Young Avengers? We'll see where it goes. Another problem with that is, before I put that away, again, good story, because I do believe it's C.B. Cebulski. Dun, dun, dun. C.B. Cebulski. Patrick Spaziante, who's known for drawing Sonic the Hedgehog, also known Spaz. He drew it, and it looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. I was waiting for the Sonic the Hedgehog theme music to break out and for the Runaways to start grabbing some rings. That's how bad it was. Again, terrible art in this what if. Let's hope that the other 4 bring it around, but overall, it's a good story. If you can justify paying $4, thanks Marvel, for it. Next up, and we gotta rush this, X-Infernus, C.B. Cebulski again. Halfway decent story. It looks a lot like the Aspen crew has been on this. It just doesn't fit what it should be. If this is a sequel to Inferno, give me a sequel to Inferno. Don't give me Pixie accidentally summoning magic sword and Ileana somehow stepping out of limbo into the Marvel Universe, ready to fight even though the X-Men can't get into limbo. It smacks of too many contradictions. It's only 4 issues long. Hey, it's a miniseries, so Marvel feels justified charging you $4. Skip it. It's not that great. If you like the David Finch cover, alright, get a poster of it. They're making a poster of it. Other than that, leave it alone. Lastly, and I have to talk about this, that's why we had to gloss over, X-Men Noir, Fred Van Lente and Dennis Calero. If you go to the Good Comic, Comics Should Be Good, the blog at comicbookresources.com, you will know that Brian Cronin celebrates Happy Fred Van Lente Day in December. And in fact, I do believe it's tomorrow, so let's celebrate Fred Van Lente Day by reading an awesome comic, an amazing comic right here. X-Men Noir, the first in the Noir line. I'm really fired up for Spider-Man Noir, and I really thought this would maybe be secondary to Spider-Man. This knocked my socks off. This is hands down the best Marvel book I read this week, Secret Invasion 8 included, and I loved Secret Invasion 8. I love this one more. This is hot. We've sold out of it here. We're completely out of this book. I sold 4 of them just by telling people, hey, it's X-Men and it's Noir. And people were like, really? I'm there. Sold it real easy. This is hot. Get it. Dennis Calero's drawing it. Fred Van Lente's writing it. The Detective Magnus is the head of the police force. He's got Fred Dukes. He's got his son, Peter Magnus, also known as Quicksilver. His daughter Wanda Magnus is in it. There's an old Golden Age Marvel character called the Angel in here, and the X-Men are crazy sociopaths.
Oh yeah.
How can I not sell this book to you with that sentence? I don't know. This is such an amazing book. This is how you reimagine a comic franchise. Buy it now. Get this, get Secret Invasion 8, skip X-Infernus, skip the What If you want to. You gotta be on this one. Find it now before it sells out. That's it for this installment. We'll talk about some DC books next time.